What's up guys, the Archdally here, and today I am at my prototype ball track generator. The idea behind this was that I could have a really complex ball track with the balls getting separated into several different tracks, and each time a ball passes a switch, it hits it, activating an energy pulse, which with enough simultaneous pulses I could possibly have a steady output, of power to power a settlement. Now a generator is still required, and I'll get to that. This right here measures my outputs. I'll start with this so you can see what I'm talking about. Right now I have 4 pulse switches, which are right here, and each time a ball passes one of these, it lights up. This one right here lights up anytime one of these lights up. The goal is to have this light stay steady. If I can get this light to stay steady, then I have a steady output of power. Now this is 99% error-free, although I think I just saw a ball right here, yes. It's actually taken a lot of work to get as error-free as it is. Let me show you some of the stuff I have set up here so I can explain how this works and the idea behind it. This right here is just a counter to count the balls that go through. And right now, yeah, we're just at over 1,000. Well, over 1,000 since I've installed this. I have it to go up to 1,000,000. And just in case I actually have this thing that long, this will keep track of how many balls go through it, just for quality assurance and whatnot. So the idea behind it is that the balls go down the track, the conveyor picks them up and takes them back to the top where they come back down. Let's go up here and I'll show you. So when they come out, I need to split them off as quickly as I can into different tracks so they don't get clogged up. And you saw a couple on the ground. It's pretty rare, but occasionally they will fall, and when the tracks get too crowded, that's what happens. So I immediately try to split them up. When they come out of the hopper up here, now I have this terminal to control the hopper. Right now I'm running 1 ball a second. At 1 ball every half a second, I was losing too many balls off the track. So this is about as fast as I can run it. You see they go down there, and that right there is the pulse that counts the balls as they come out of the hopper. Now what happens is right here is the first switch, and this is why this is mostly error-free right here. This right here is the bin that I use to catch the ones that fall here, because what happens is there's a switch right there. It's a simple on-off switch, and when the balls hit that on-off switch, it toggles this splitter one way or the other. Now if the balls are just barely too close together, one will trigger it while another's trying to go through it, and it'll kick it off. So I have this thing, this bin right here to catch them. Now following this, it goes down and it spirals and it goes back down into the conveyor. So once the balls are successfully split here, they can now go one of 2 ways. They can go that way, or they can go this way. And each of these ways has its own splitter. Now these splitters are much more accurate, because now, as you can see right here, the ball traffic is only halved right here. So here, this simple on-off switch, which toggles this splitter, is much more effective. Now, so this splits the balls into 4 separate tracks. Let's go down here and check that out. Once the balls are split into the 4 different tracks, and these are the pulses that will send the power to the settlement, if this actually works out, then the 4 different tracks simply take the balls back down to the conveyor to go back up. These are the 4 outlets from those tracks. And this is the outlet from that catch-all bin that catches the balls that fall out of that first splitter, which unfortunately just happens sometimes. Now the idea behind this was that splitting the balls up and getting several quick pulses, those pulses of energy could add up to one constant stream, which could then power a settlement. Yes, there is still a generator behind the scenes, but it's kind of the idea behind the thing. It's kind of like if this was a car, right? And if you know anything about mechanics, this right here would be like the engine. This would be the battery, and then this right here would be like the alternator or the stator. And the hopper is the regulator, and the way it works is the engine, where the balls go through, then this, the alternator is what recharges and takes the spent energy and puts it back up there, and then the hopper regulates, because the hopper will only allow so many balls to go back into the thing at once. Perhaps that was kind of a bad analogy, but that's what it's designed upon. And the reason I went into that is because ideally, if I can get this to put out a steady stream of power, then I could actually unplug the generator from the conveyor, and the conveyor could run off the pulses that the balls are generating when they go through the switches. That was the whole idea behind this. And the idea being that the power would only run to these switches, and if the balls can trigger them fast enough, and if I can put in more, then I could definitely do it. It's going to get a lot noisier, but that could definitely do that. I could double these switches, and then what could happen is, yes, this could power the conveyors, and then if something happened and the conveyor shut down and wasn't able to pull balls up, that would cause the whole thing to fail. But I could have a safety logic gate running off the generator hooked to these switches to the hopper, and what it could do is it could sense that if the conveyor shuts down, it would kick the hopper into gear and start dumping the hopper, and that could get this kick started again so it could continue working. That's why I likened it to an engine in a car, because the charging system on this in a way very much is a generator, and it has a charging system just like a vehicle would. And so that's how this whole thing works. Now, it definitely wasn't this humongous in my mind, but it kind of had to be, because when you do the ball track, you have to constantly keep going down. Now you can take these pieces and you can flip them and you can kind of zigzag and you can go kind of up and the balls will flow over it, but as soon as you get one ball that's too close to another and it hits it, it'll stop, and then once one ball stops, it all jams up. Or if you simply look away, if you're simply away doing something else and you come back, they like to stop on those inclines. So in other words, you have to go down the entire time, which means it has to be very tall, because yeah, you have to be constantly going down. And I didn't really picture that on my head. It's not really like building a train track, unfortunately. You have to... It's very particular how this has to work. Stuff some of these back in. So yes, it's pretty much error-free, though. It is very fun to watch it work, and I don't mind the noise, because I like hearing, you know, all the... It's like having a train set, kind of, like I said, you know, in a way it kind of is. So let me go through this a little more slowly, because it is just fun to watch. I'd say this took about, I probably spent about 3 hours on this, but that was starting from scratch, and the most difficult part was getting both the top and the bottom to line up. And you know, and that's why these tracks have to wind the way they do, because at the very top I have to have that big funnel piece snapped. It can't snap to the hopper, so the track has to meet at such a point that funnel piece can snap to the track and meet exactly at the hopper, and then at the bottom it has to meet the very bottom of the conveyor and dump right into it. And so that was the hardest part, was finding a starting point. I kind of had to build part of the track and build part of the conveyor and kind of run them up simultaneously and kind of work from the bottom and from the top, and I kind of had to make the tracks meet in the middle. It's kind of how it had to work. So let's go back up here. I can put some more switches in to get more pulses of power, but this is just a prototype. Now the idea was to have a settlement here and have the settlement kind of go vertical and intertwined in with the ball tracks. And it'd be kind of cool, because there'd be windows and stuff, and from each room you could see the balls going by, and it was a cool idea. But I've already used much of my settlement size allotment just building this, and this is a lot of polygons, and I've realized that I think this will probably not go past just being, you know, a conversation piece, unfortunately. But it is definitely a very cool attraction to the Starlight Drive-In here. Let's show some of this. It's fun to watch it work. And, you know, it mostly does work. It takes a lot of experimenting to get these balls to stay on the tracks. And this is going to apply into other things. I've learned a lot doing this. In fact, if you guys remember the computer that I was working on a few months ago, well, this is giving me some ideas. I can incorporate parts of this into that, because I hit a roadblock when I was trying to have external components to the computer, and now with some of the stuff I've come up here I can, and that's something I'll have to get into later. Oh, that ball just fell. See, sometimes if somehow two balls get too close together, when that gate switches, it will kick one off. So to recap, ball track generator, the power ideally only goes to those 4 gates right down there. And the ball set them off, and the idea is that they can set them off in quick enough succession to provide constant power, which powers the conveyor, which powers this, and it's like an engine in a car, basically, with the generator just to provide backup power. If it comes to a halt, then the generator would kick in and allow the hopper to run some more balls down to start the process again. So guys, tell me what you think. I hope you like it. This has been a crazy process the last couple of days making this, guys. It's been a pleasure. Don't forget to subscribe for more crazy stuff like this, and whatever else I come up with. It's been a pleasure. My name is Dark Dally. I will catch you all next time.